Welcome to another exciting episode of Koffin Radio. I am Heartthrob Rob. Joining me today is the one, the only Joseph D'Onofrio. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. How about yourself?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you so much for joining, brother. I was so excited. I mean, you've been on such iconic movies. You know, you were on Goodfellas, A Bronx Tale, and another movie that you had a bit part in, but I love forever, will be a Ninja Turtles. I love the Ninja Turtles, man. That's my huge thing. I'm sure not a lot of people know you more for your other roles, but I was always like, dude, he was also a Ninja Turtles. That's sweet.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's cool, man. So before we get into, all the bigger roles that you've been in, because you've been, had a long career here for, almost 30 years. You've, been in constant movies. How did you get your start? How did you first get into the entertainment biz?
I was a break dancer.
Yeah, I saw that. How did that come about?
I used to do some break dancing, and then I did some commercials, breaking, and then my manager at the time started sending me on auditions for movies. And next thing you know, I started booking movies.
That's cool, man. And so you had like a bit part, right, in a movie called I Love New York. That was your first one?
Yes, that was an extra, really.
Like you were just an extra? Okay, cool. So then your first major big role then, or, the first big movie that you were able to be in was Ninja Turtles then?
Yep, that was the first movie.
So you played movie hoodlum number one. You're the one who actually, when Raphael gets out of the movies, there's an old lady walking, you and your homie, or you and your friend come by, run. You're the one who actually snatches the purse, and then you get going, right?
That's it.
And then Raphael, you're actually the one that Raphael trips, and then you fall over, and then, he flashes his little sigh. You guys run, hop the wall, and then you're the one who also says, "What the hell was that?" And then Casey Jones comes and he hits both of you.
Yep, that's it.
How was filming that, man? What was going through your mind? I mean, your very first kind of movie, and Ninja Turtles isn't a household name like it is now. What was your first thoughts when you're like, I'm in a freaking movie about big, gigantic, teenage mutant Ninja Turtles? What was going through your mind with that?
To be honest with you, nothing really. I was just like, it was another job. It was great. We got to go to North Carolina, so I got a trip out of it. So I was at North Carolina with Casey Jones, and then the scene with the turtle we did by Central Park.
Really? So it was two different sets there. That's crazy. I would have never known that unless you said that.
Yeah, when we jumped over the wall, we were at North Carolina. They didn't want to film at night in Central Park for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, that was with Elias Cote, who's actually done movies, and he's been in a lot of roles and stuff as well. But he got his start as Casey Jones right there too. That's cool, man. That's amazing. So then, how long were you tripped out? Like, what were the turtle suits like in real life? Because I mean, that was made by Jim Henson, who's world famous for this kind of stuff.
They were made of like foam. They were like foams, and then they put the head on, and then they went. But there was guys, regular Americans played the turtles. They did all the stunts. It was all martial arts experts doing all the special flips and everything.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I mean, those guys are wearing.
And they had puppeteers that moved there, like when we were on the set, and then each turtle talked or whatever. A guy was doing something like this.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was weird.
That's crazy, man. I mean, that's got to be wild for that to be your first one, and then for that to go on and become what it did. You know what I mean? People don't realize, that wasn't a big thing, and then all of a sudden, for a long time, that was the very biggest indie film of all time. It was
the biggest money-making movie ever when it came out. It was the #1 box office money ever in the business when it came out. I mean, now it's not, but it was at the time.
Yeah, people, it, had the distribution deal, but for a long time, it took it a while for, when it went out, it blew up, but, people were not expecting it to do what it did at first, right? That's crazy. So, and that was in 1990. So you had a busy year that year. That same year, you were perfectly cast to be a young Tommy in Goodfellas, that was crazy. Yeah. How did that, you're in the scene where Henry's still young and he gets pinched for the cigarettes and all that, and you're there and you do that infamous line, "How's you doing, Henry?" That's perfect. How did that come about?
Basically, I went up and I auditioned, and I got the part. That's how it came.
Yeah. what was filming that like? Was something, with a scene just like that, although it's small, a smaller role, it's iconic, about how long does something like that take for you to film?
Well, we did the scene on the cigarettes in the truck. That was a day. And then we did the same day, we did the scene where I run around when he gets caught. We did another location. That was the same day. And then the next day we did when I ran up the stairs and I told him he got pinched. I told Tuddy. And then we did it one in the court scene. Hey, you popped.
Yep.
So basically it took like 3 days to do that whole thing. But it was great. It was nice.
Yeah, I definitely remember, hey, you popped your cherry. That's amazing. You're also there. I do notice that you're in the crowd. You kind of give him like a punch on the shoulder a little bit, with it. So that's very cool. What was, meeting Deniro like at that time? You're a young kid at the time. How old are you? Do you think you were 17, 18 maybe?
Yeah, around that age, like 19, 20.
Still a young man, though, dude. You're just fresh out of high school. You don't know nothing about nothing, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right behind the ears. And then here you are with Deniro, who's already a star by 1990. What was that like?
Well, I wasn't really into acting growing up.
Wow.
So I really didn't even know who Robert De Niro was, to be honest with you. So I just said, hi, how are you? And he said, hi, how are you, back to me. And that was it. It was like no big deal because I wasn't really into movies and acting. I just was like there to work. Because I grew up doing a lot of commercials. So basically, my manager always used to tell me, Joe, when you go to a set, whoever you're working with, don't ask them for a picture. Don't get personal. Just, hi, how you doing? Do your job and leave. So that's basically what I was doing. I didn't realize the magnitude of who he was. But when I look back on it now, I'm like, wow, the guy is amazing. And I love him. And he's an icon. And I'm so grateful that I got to work with him. And he taught me so much over the years from working with him on a couple of different projects that I was involved with him in. And the guy's just an amazing, all-around nice guy. And he was always so nice to me and always so thoughtful and always gave me advice. And I appreciate it forever.
Yeah. That's so cool. You don't have to be starstruck, but just to realize, what he's done and stuff like that and how it is. And at the time, not at the time, excuse me, but that's just one of 4 movies that you guys end up doing together, right? You've been in 4, you guys have worked together 4 different times, right?
Yeah.
That's cool. I mean, that's amazing, not a lot of people have that under their belt to say, I've been 4 movies with De Niro, throughout the years.
Yeah, I basically was in scenes with him, and every time I worked with him, and then once he actually directed me in one of them, so that was a great experience also. The guy's amazing. Yeah, and like I said, when I met him, I wasn't starstruck because I really didn't know who he was, but I think that was part of the reason why I got the part, I think, also.
That's so cool, man. Continuing on with, how busy you are, just a year later, the movie comes out that you were also in, did you want to say anything else about Goodfellas? Anything more, that was different for you? Or do you have like a story maybe from that movie while you were filming?
No, I'm just grateful that I got a chance to do it. And it was such an awesome time working with Marty Scorsese and Robert De Niro and everybody on that set. And everybody was so nice. Paul Savino. And it's just a great, great, great movie. And I'm just so happy that I got involved. And, Hendry, how you doing, Hendry? I mean, everybody would have forget me. So I'm happy that you remember me from it.
I'm a California boy, man, so I don't really go out to New York too often, but I just want to say, like, you have the iconic 90s Italian or, what we think of how that accent goes, man. It's so cool. It's iconic. I love it, man. It's so cool. I also want to give you your flowers. Like Paul Sorvino, I don't think he gets enough love as he does, but I also wanted to reach out to you and say, you've also been in these iconic movies and iconic roles, and I really appreciate everything you've done, man. That's very cool.
Thank you.
So 1991, again, you work for another famous actor, or another famous director. You do Spike Lee's movie Jungle Fever, right? So you played John Turturro. Is that how you say his last name?
Yeah.
John Turturro's, customer and his character and that, and then you guys all jump him at the end of the scene or at the end of the movie. But you play another long role in there too. What was filming that like? It
was great. Actually, when I auditioned to play one of the brothers. Of Annabella Sarosi's character. And what happened was Spike Lee liked me so much, he actually added a role for me. And he made me one of the candy store guys.
Yeah.
And Patty. And it was just great. Spike Lee is such a professional came to the set, everything was moving so quick and it was great. It was such a great experience. And again, I really didn't know about acting and people. So when I met all these people, it was like really no big deal. It was just like going to work. So it was really a great experience. And there was like 3 or 4 scenes that we actually shot that they didn't put in the film. But you could see them on YouTube if you Google like cut scenes from Jungle Fever.
That's, you know, that's so funny. I watched the trailer a few times more, you know what I mean? Just to recap things. And I watched, you know, I rewatched the movie, but as I rewatched the movie and then I watched the trailer after, I was like, hey, that wasn't in the movie, you know, certain little parts and stuff like that. So that's so funny you bring that up because I did notice some of that. That's crazy. Yeah, that movie resonates too, man. That movie had such a cast of a lot of people, a lot of big names, a lot of people that, you know, at the time were bubbling, and then right after is when they really explode. That's really cool.
Yeah, Wesley Snipes wasn't even really anybody, and that's before New Jack City came out.
Absolutely. And that's really what blew him up.
I loved Anthony Quinn when he came out that window, and he's like, bully! Or whatever. That was Anthony Quinn. That was an experience. I'll never forget working with Anthony Quinn that day, man. Such a nice guy and a powerful actor. And John, of course, was great. Nick Totoro and just everybody in that whole ensemble with us. It was just great. Steven Randazzo and everybody. I'll never forget it. And I'm grateful as always.
Incredible actors in that movie. Anthony Quinn, incredible. You know, he's so good. He's so good. Everything that he's ever touched has been amazing. What do you think was your favorite movie or favorite scene to film in there? Just all of it?
I like the candy store things, basically. When John Turturro was talking to us all, and he's like, hey, Patty, you vote? I was like, no, I had to help my mom's out. Steven, you vote? It's like, and then we're all like abusing him. Oh, I heard you're dating some black chick. Or whatever. That was the favorite, because it was basically like just hanging out and just like hanging out and just chilling out. It wasn't even like work.
You know what? That's what he's known for, kind of, where all the script and you know, the people talking, the dialogue is all just people just shooting the shit, real conversation. And that is a real conversation. You know what I mean? Hey, did you vote? No, I had to go do this thing over here. And you know how it goes, you know.
And then Nick Toro was just so great as the part that he played. And me just like being next to him while he was sitting there talking to John, and I'm like agreeing with him, and he's like, I'd never walk down 18th Avenue. And I'm like, not even Paula Abdul? And he's like, not even Paula Abdul. When I look back on it, I'm just like, and that was my first close-up I ever did that I knew about. But I was on, like, when Spike was doing the close-ups of me. It's like my first close-up ever, and I remember being so nervous. But I got through it, and it was great.
You do great, man. You look comfortable on set. You look comfortable on screen. You can't tell at all. It's really cool, man. And then, you know, you take, you know, here after 1991, we hop into 1993, and you play the iconic Slick in A Bronx Tale. You even still got the, you know, your signature hair. It's still there. Tell them. There you go. You still got it.
Yeah.
How did you end up getting that role? Because, you know, that's another Deniro film that you've done together, and this one he's actually playing the you know, he's the director as well as you know, playing the other side of the coin of the mafia. You know what I mean? He's not the boss or nothing like that. He's just, you know, a regular family man. How did that come about with you getting the role there?
Well, I remember I was at my house one day and I got a phone call from my agent, and she was like, we just got a call from Tribeca, Robert De Niro's office. They're doing a reading of a movie called The Bronx Tale. And they want to know if you're available to read a part in the reading. And I was like, oh, sure, no problem, man. I'm not doing anything. Let's do it. So we went up, and I did a reading, and everybody was there, from like Penny Marshall to Howard Ramis to like everybody, man. It was crazy the amount of fame that was there. John Turturro actually read Chaz's part, and Danny Aiello read De Niro's part, and they were in the audience listening. And I think this is before he actually bought the rights. Yeah. And basically did the reading. And then, I don't know, a couple of weeks later, I heard that he bought the rights to the film. And he wanted me to play Slick. And they offered me the role. And basically, I came up, and they started having me come up and put different people around me to see who was going to play the other parts. Basically, they offered me the role, and, you know, that was it.
That's cool, man. I mean, you've had the iconic scenes in there. You guys fight the bikers, you know, after the big brawl inside of God, I'm going to kill myself. Chebepi. Yeah, there you go. You know, you guys kind of pick apart one of the bikers, fight the kids on the bikes. You know, the buying the gun scene, just you guys shooting the shit in front of your own little club. Just all the scenes are so iconic. What do you know? And you play, you know, per Chaz, you know, per you know, the script, you play the biggest jerk off. You know, Slick's the biggest jerk off. You know, so you're almost the leader of the gang, as it were. What do you think is your favorite scene from that movie that you're in?
Favorite scene? Probably the gun deal.
Yeah, the gun thing.
Yeah,
I want to shoot somebody.
Yeah, but I like the way Chaz came around and he like grabbed him and he put the guy up against the wall and smacked him around.
Zero?
Yeah, and he didn't even know, the guy who we smacked around didn't even know that Chaz was going to do that.
Oh my gosh.
It was great. And that whole scene, believe it or not, it was really only supposed to be like us doing like, he was going to show us the guns and I was going to be like, oh, that one's nice. And then Chaz was going to come. So basically that whole scene was like made up. We just, Deniro just did a rehearsal. He was like, all right, let's do a rehearsal. And he's like, all right, you guys are buying the guns and, you know, let's see what happens. Just play along with it. And then we did it. And then I shoot somebody, I said, and then, you know, I was like, oh, don't point that gun.
Whoa.
Yeah, all that stuff was improv. And then Louis Veneria, you know, said something. And then, you know, that was definitely my favorite scene. And everybody always asks me in the street, can you say, I want to shoot somebody? I want to shoot somebody. Like, wow, it resonated with a lot of people.
Is it like a lot of improv on those kind of movies where like, hey, this is the gist of it. Here's maybe points A, B, and C. You guys can do the rest. Is that kind of how a lot of those go?
Well, a lot of movies are like that. Like basically Goodfellas, we didn't even have any lines in Goodfellas in the script. They just made them up as we did it. Like the Bronx Tale, I think Deniro actually took a page from Marty Scorsese and did the same thing basically where the script had things written, but he let us basically be the characters. And in the rehearsal, if we did something in the rehearsal, he'd say, keep it or take it out, or, you know, we play with it. And, you know, and he was very good with stuff like that.
That's so cool. I mean, like a real response, like how you said, he wasn't supposed to slap that kid, but, you know, when it comes up and you're really, you know, you're really feeling it because you're not expecting to get picked up and slapped around, but, you know, here it is happening to you, you know, so that's a real response. That's crazy. Did Chaz give you any kind of other, you know, advice to you? Because you're playing his friends, right? I mean, Chaz actually lives C's life, or, you know, it's based on his life. So you're kind of playing the friends around him. Did he kind of give you any advice of, hey, a little bit of this, a little bit of that? Did that happen?
Chaz is one of the greatest individuals I know in the entire world.
Very cool, man.
That he wrote that part of Slick, and he gave me that part of Slick. But when we were doing the movie, his character and my character, he really didn't like me too much. So basically, we talked a little about the character, but during the scenes, we basically didn't really communicate too much. But when we did, he gave me great advice, and he was like a father figure, and he gave me a lot of good stuff, and I learned so much from him, just working with him. And Deniro being a director, he taught me so much. It was like going to acting school. Actually, doing that movie, I learned about technique, about the camera angles, about so many different things, and I'm just so grateful. And yeah, Chaz gave me a lot of great advice.
That's so cool, man. And you brought up that Deniro is, you know, playing that dual role if he's acting and directing. What was that like for him to do that? Like, you know, how does that work when he's, you know, playing both parts like that?
I mean, to be honest with you, I wasn't in any scenes with him when he was directing himself, so I don't really know about that.
That's true.
I know that he is a great director, and it's great how he, you know, he teaches you so much about the craft, and he basically lets you do your own thing, you know, and he lets you, you know, when you come with an idea, like I had a couple of ideas I remember, and a couple of them he said to do, and a couple of them he said don't to do. And when I look back on the things he told me not to do, I look at them and I'm like, wow, I'm so grateful that he told me not to do what he told me to do. Because, you know, me being a young actor at the time, you know, I'm listening to him because, you know, he has so much experience. And after that day, I'm always open. Anytime an actor or director or anybody tells me something, I always stay open. It's just in life, you know, with anything, you know, I just try to stay open, man. And yeah, I guess it was great for him. He knew what he was doing. Look at the movie.
Yeah, it's incredible. It resonates still to this day. It's crazy. You know, you have the scene with Chaz where towards the end where, you know, you're trying to get Chaz gets C out of the car. and he, you're like, come on, Sonny, and then he quiet you, and then afterwards you're like, come on, and then boom,
Yeah.
and you pull that off. Was that a couple takes, or are you guys able to one and done that, or how did that work?
I think that was like 2 takes. That was it.
Yeah,
That's
cool.
It was actually drizzling that day. It was very cold.
Oh, really?
Very cold. We did that scene at like 2, 3 in the morning, dude. I remember drizzling, and everybody was tired, and we were just like, but Chaz is such a professional that he knew exactly how to, if you see it, the way he reaches his hand and he just does the head, because everything was in the frame. It's like being an actor, you also have to act, but you have to act in the frame of the film. And you actually have to not block the other actor while you're doing, like when he put his arm in, if he puts his arm in like that, see how you can't see my face? You got to do it over. But he had his arm like that. So it was 2 takes and we were done. Thanks to Chaz and, Bobby Deniro directing the scene.
That's crazy, man. I love that scene. Like, everything where it just all comes boiling down to, the last piece, and everything builds up to this, great arc at the end. What was it like filming the scene, where you die, where that happens? You guys get the Molotov cocktails and all that. What was filming that? Because, like, in that scene, you're really on fire, or there's real fire around you, at least, What was that like?
Well, that was actually 2 days. The first day we did the scene where we were in the car and we just threw the cocktails in the store and we shot it up. Basically, we would do a scene and then they cut, and then it'll take them a half an hour because they had to put new glass. They had to squib everything up. They had to clean up all the fire. So that took a long time. But when I shot the window, there was a sniper on the roof actually shooting the window.
Oh, my God.
When I shot, the guy, poof, it shot the window. So I had to say, like, when I shot it, I had to shoot it in the same spot every time.
Yeah.
When I look back on it, I'm like, wow, I don't believe I did that because it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And then they actually put us, then one day we actually went into the studio and they actually put us on fire. So when you see the car itself of us in the car on fire, we were actually on fire. They put the car on stilts and they cut it in half. They put each of us on fire one at a time, and then they put us out. But I didn't blow up in the car, but when it blew up, I wasn't in there. That was a dummy. But a guy was actually driving the car. Doug Coleman, great stunt guy. He was driving the car.
Yeah, because you're, and you're, that's what I'm saying. I was like trying to remember. I'm like, no, you were really on fire in one of those scenes,
Yeah.
It's like.
My legs were on fire. I think Louis' hat was on fire.
Yep.
And the other guys was on fire. But the other guy didn't want to go on fire, so he didn't go on fire. It was up to us.
What were the rest of the guys in the car like? Like you said, Louis and, the other guy, I forget their names, but off the top of my head. But what were they like? Were they good guys and stuff like that?
Everybody was excellent. Everybody was great. They were just, to be honest with you, they were all regular guys from the neighborhood. A lot of them didn't even want to be actors. They were just real guys from the Bronx that auditioned. They went to the neighborhoods and looked for real people. And it's funny because me and Louis, actually, the guy who played Crazy Mario, we just finished a pilot called Almost Made. And we're actually doing another film coming up where he has a small part in, and I'm one of the leads. I'm actually going to kill him in this movie, but don't tell nobody. I love working with him. Louis the best. He actually called me the other day. He always calls me every once in a while. He's singing now. But everybody was great. He's really nice.
That's so cool, man. I also wanted to bring up, you also have like such iconic photos from that, with you guys like hanging out, like youngsters, you know what I mean, in front of your club, or or the pictures even from Goodfellas, where Deniro's got his arms around both of you guys, you with the gun, shooting, like all those such iconic photos. What is it like to be memorialized forever? You know what I mean? To have that feeling, or, you look at someone's Facebook page or Instagram post and it's, you and your buddies or whatever. And it's, I'd rather have, a little bit of friends, that mean a lot than whatever, you know what I'm saying? Quotes and crazy quotes like that. What is that like, man?
It's great, man. I'm just grateful that I had a chance to be in those iconic movies, and hopefully we're going to do a couple more. I just finished something called The Birthday Cake with Val Kilmer. That should be coming out soon. Val Kilmer, Lorraine Bracco. We got the show Gravesend right now. That's on Amazon Prime. It's going to be big. We're starting to shoot new episodes in December. I just got the call, and I'm excited about that. And, it's crazy when you say about all those pitches, because it's like a couple of years ago, someone approached me to do these chiller theater things where people come and they sign autographs and stuff. And it's crazy, all those pitches. There's so many collectors that have them and they want you to sign them and sign posters. And it's amazing when I think about it. I'm just grateful.
That's so cool, man. Do you have any other maybe Bronx Tale stories you want to tell us? Anything crazy behind the scenes or anything fun that you guys did while messing around, anything like that? Obviously, this the fire thing that blows my mind. I always wondered how they kind of did that. That's so cool.
Let's see, the fire thing. No, basically it was just a great shoot, man. I mean, everything went awesome, and just working with people it's crazy because I started off my career working on like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was like big budget. Goodfellas, all the movies I did were like big budgets, and it was just great. I mean, every night they either had like wonton soup, or matzo ball soup, or minestrone soup. It was crazy every night. Man, I got spoiled on that set, man.
That's cool, man. That movie resonates, with people forever. I mean, it's a simple story, but it's also very well put together, and that's what really matters. You know what I mean? The iconic, things that they said, wasted talent, or it doesn't apply still, but the working man is a sucker, and Mickey Mantle, see. If you can't pay your rent, see if Mickey Mantle cries or whatever it is.
It was a great story. It's a great story to like show kids that basically, listen, it's better to be the legal guy than be the illegal guy. Exactly. You got to make that money legally, man. Illegal don't work. Yep. You end up jails, institutions, and death. That's it.
Feared or loved, you know what I mean? I think that's another thing in there too as well. That's incredible, man.
Job with that script, man. It's unbelievable. The story is amazing, man. And Absolutely. The play was great too. I seen the plate when Chaz was doing it. Chaz was amazing. He should have won a Tony for that.
Yeah, his one-man play. That's really crazy, huh?
No, not the one man. The play, the Bronx Tale, the one that was on Broadway.
Oh, they got the full thing. I didn't know that. Okay, I'll have to do some more research, man.
Oh, it was on for like a year or two.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's why I missed it. Dang it. But, you stayed, that was in, a little while ago. That was in 93, but you stayed working. I literally could not fit everything that you have, on a couple sheets of paper. So I just wanted to go over like a couple of the bigger ones, even though you stay working, you got damn near 3, 4, 5 movies a year, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But if we can go over some big ones, or, the bigger ones, because you're always working on big movies. You were in Spider-Man 2002, the original Spider-Man. Here's another superhero movie for you, You played a cop in that. How was that?
That was great, man. I was like, it was funny because when they came to me to do the part, they had the script. And in the script, basically the lines were supposed to be, they asked me, what do you think about Spider-Man? And then my line was supposed to be, well, he's putting all these webs all over the city and, it's being a pain to go clean up. So basically I said that. Yeah. And then they were like, we're just going to ask you a question and then you say whatever you want. And I remember some guy.
Uh-oh.
Call me, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine.
What happened was this guy always used to say wackadoo. So they asked me, what do you think about Spider-Man? It's like, I think he's a freaky Lou and a wackadoo. And people always say the line that people always see me in the street. And it's funny when people remember me from Spider-Man. I'm like, how do you remember me from such a quick scene that came out? It was, again, the biggest money-making movie of all time. First the Turtles, and then Spider-Man was number one after that. So it was like 2 movies that were actually the biggest money-making movies. And I mean, it probably had to do with me having little parts in both of them.
You're the golden goose. That's for damn sure, man. You got it still.
It wasn't that, but and it was a great movie. Spider-Man, the first one, I thought that movie was like one of the best Spider-Mans.
Set the stage. People don't realize. Yeah. Disney owns Marvel. Disney owns Marvel now, and it's everywhere. It's Walmart backpacks everywhere. It's on everything you could ever see, right? Yeah. People don't realize it wasn't like that in the early 2000s. It isn't like that where it was only X-Men. Which I think it was released like 1 year prior, and then it was Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, and then superheroes blew up. It wasn't until 2002-ish when this started happening, really, and even then it was still incrementally.
It was the first. Yeah, I remember.
Absolutely. That same year you had your 4th Deniro film and analyzed that. How was filming that? How was putting all that together? Another iconic mafia movie.
Oh, that was great, man. That was a great time working with Deniro on that. You know, hanging off the roof, and it was an amazing experience. Shooting that gun, I remember shooting the machine gun.
Yep.
I remember practicing, and the guy's like, "Don't move your arm over here because if you do, it'll get cut off because the things were going through."
Yeah.
It was a real gun.
Holy
But
shit.
that was when the gun stopped. I would make believe I kept shooting because the bullets went so quick. But I made believe I was really shooting, and they put the fire in afterwards. So
That's
when
crazy.
you gun, you know, they put the fire in afterwards. There wasn't no fire when I was really shooting it.
Yeah. That's cool, man. 2003, you did Law and Order, you know, another episodic, crazy type show. How'd you like that?
Oh, that was fun, man. That was great. I mean, that took us we did that in like an hour. Boom, boom, boom. We were in and out. And it was great because I remember doing it. And you have to, when on Law and Order, if you see that episode, I'm like walking around, you know? And you have to hit your marks and hit the camera. And I felt so good that day because I hung with these Jerry Orbach and all these top actors. And it was just like, I did my scene and I was in and out. And after I did it, they were just like, "You were great. Thank you so much." 2 takes and we were out. It was great.
That's cool, man. That's cool. 2006, you did a Delirious with Steve Buscemi. That was also another big movie. That was cool. How'd you like that one?
Tom DiCello directed that. Yeah, it was great, man. Great time with Steve Buscemi and, you know, working on that. Steve Buscemi's a great guy. I actually seen him after that, and he always remembers me and says hi to me and asks me how my family is. And the guy's amazing, man. And
That's
the movie's
cool.
great.
Yeah. You hit another couple. You did We Own the Night in 2007. You know, another cool movie. You were in the club scene with that one. You did 30 Rock in 2009. You had a couple parts in that movie, or a couple episodes in that one as well. How was filming that?
Oh, that was great, man. We used to go to the sound stage and hang out. Tracy Morgan was great. I remember walking through, and I was talking to somebody, and Tracy Morgan's like, "Hey, is that the kid from the Bronx Tale? Get in here. Get in here, you." And then he's like, "Yo, what's up? How you doing?" He's like, "Yeah, you grew up in Brooklyn." And we started talking. He was just so nice to me, and it was like family, man. You go to the set, and it was just like having fun, man.
Yeah.
It's such a great time. And I'm working with Alec Baldwin in one scene. And then Tina Fey, it was funny. I did my second episode, and I walk in, and Tina Fey's like, "Hey, how you doing, Joe?" And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, because at that time, basically, I was acting a while. So I started to realize, like, who actors were and this and that. So, you know, I was a little, not starstruck, but it made me feel like, wow, Tina Fey remembered my name. And she was like this big actor. And, you know, I looked up to these people. And it just made me feel so good. And, you know, and it's great, you know. That's why I guess she's so successful, because she don't forget where she comes from. And, you know, she's just a down-to-earth person, like Tracy Morgan.
That's cool, man. That's so dope of her. And then you did Men in Black 3 in 2012. That's cool.
Yeah.
How'd you like that one?
I think you need to block you got a bot in here or whatever, somebody.
Yeah, let me kill this person.
Yeah, get him out. Yeah.
There you go.
You got him good.
There you go.
You know how you know it's definitely a hater. It's like they don't even have a name on it. They'll probably be back.
No followers, no nothing to do in life except for to hate, man. Don't worry about it. No nothing. Everyone else, there's been dozens and dozens and dozens of people coming into this live showing love. It's not even going to pop up on the YouTube.
You know what we're going to do? Pray for him.
Yeah, exactly. And then you did Are We There Yet in 2010 as Staten Island Mike. You know, you did the earlier comedy thing with 30 Rock. But what was it like to do this major, you know, episodic where you did a bunch of episodes on this with the comedy? How was that? How did you like that?
Oh, that was great. Working with Terry Crews, Ice Cube, Keisha Sharp. I mean, it was great. We shot up in Connecticut. So it was basically, it was fun again, man. That was like my favorite thing. I would love to be on a show like that, man. I did 25 episodes, and it was just great. Just going to work, having a good time. And Ali Leroy created it and directed it. And the Tap Dance Kid, Alfonso Roberto, directed an episode, Ted Lang from The Love Boat. And I learned so much about comedy timing on that, because a lot of these guys that were directing it and created it, basically, this was my actually first sitcom where it was like, you know, on a stage where they had like 6 cameras, and I was like one of the main guys. So I learned a lot, basically, about a lot of different things. It was like going to school again.
Mm-hmm.
It was just so awesome. And they basically let me do what I wanted to. Like if I would get a script and I'd be like, oh, Ali, you think I could say this instead of that? He was like, Joe, say whatever you want. And then during the scene, we'd actually be brainstorming because I would be working with Sherrod Smalls and Christian Finnegan, who are stand-up comics. And I would always tell them, dude, if you think I could say something that's funny, let me know. So basically, we'd be doing a scene and we'd be brainstorming. We'd be coming up with stuff as we were doing it, man. It was just so much fun. And it was like, it's like you go to work and you have fun and you get paid.
That's the best feeling. And then that's got to be a great feeling when you're also, you know, the more fun you guys are having, the more it comes out on screen. You know what I mean? And plus, you come up with the ideas on the spot. That's, you know what's going to work. You know how the character's dynamic is going to hit. You know, that's very cool. You were able to work with a lot of, you know, big things there and show off your comedy chops. And I think you pulled that off cool, you know, showing your range and everything you're able to do. I really like that.
Thank you. Me too. It was so much fun, man. I'm so grateful for that. And it was funny because it wasn't even supposed to be Staten Island Mike. Wasn't even, what happened was when I auditioned, it was supposed to be a guy named Mike from Seattle.
Ah.
So agent up, I killed the audition. Todd Taylor casted that. And I killed the audition. They called my agent like, oh, we love Joe, but it's shot in Seattle. It's supposed to be Seattle. So, you know, we're not going to be able to use Joe because he's got a New York accent. So my agent calls me and tells me this. I'm like, what, nobody in Seattle is from New York? Like, why didn't I think of that? So the agent calls them back and says, hey, listen, what, nobody in Seattle is from New York? So basically, since I said that, my agent called him up. Todd told the producer, you know, why don't Joe be a character that moved to Seattle from New York? And boom, they said, okay, let's do it. But if I don't say what I say to the agent, I never get the part.
That's crazy. It's so funny how that little thing can add it and adds another wrinkle to your character and makes it what it is. You know, I think it needed that. It really needed to show, like, you know, you and Terry Crews working out like that, you know, that really worked. That was cool.
No, it was great, man. I'll never forget working with Terry Crews. The guy's such a gentleman and professional and great. Oh, that whole set, everybody was great.
Yeah, that's cool, man. And then in 2018, you know, you hit another comic book thing going. You know, you did a henchman for Falcone in the movie, or excuse me, in the TV show Gotham in 2018. You got locked up a little bit in there. How did you like that movie? Or excuse me, that role?
Great, man. That was another thing. I remember getting the audition, and they go, you got an audition for Gotham. And there was an Italian henchman. And I remember getting the scene, and it says, you know, if you see the part, I actually do my homework. When I get an audition, I try to look at the stuff. And I seen the show, and I seen it was like creepy. So the first lines were, Gordon. You know, I'm calling out Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
So in my head, I'm like, everybody's going to go in there and going to be like, hey, Gordon. Hey, Gordon. Hey, over here.
Yeah.
Instead of doing that, I was like, Gordon. What are you doing, Gordon? Like, very creepy. Yeah. And I had the part, and that was another one, which was great. I remember I had like a 9 a.m. call. I went in, 10 o'clock, we were on set. We finished the scene by 12 o'clock. I was out of there. 2 hours, because basically everything was perfect, man. I mean, when I go to the set, I have to have my lines down. I have everything ready to go. And if you're working with professionals, you move so quick, man. It was great.
That's very cool, man. Like I said, you've had dozens and dozens and dozens of roles. You know, I could talk about it all day, but, you know, I just wanted to go over, hit a couple high spots along the way. You said you've got some new stuff coming. What do you look for in movies nowadays as you look for new roles?
Well, basically, I look for people that are going to either offer me the roles or something I could audition for. So really, I'm not picking and choosing right now. But like I said, you know, the All Mobbed Up, which is start shooting at the end of next month. You know, I play a drag queen in that, and John Gallagher is directing that. And John Gallagher, I've been in 5 of his movies. And every time, I mean, I played a gangster in the first 3 movies that he did. But ever since that, he always gives me something different. In the last movie, I played a dentist. And the one before that, I played a stockbroker. And now I'm playing a drag queen. But in Gravesend, I'm playing a gangster. But I'm playing a gangster that's a calm and cool gangster. You know, a classy guy. I try not to do everything the same. like I just got offered this other role up in Rhode Island I'm doing called The Family Feuds, and it's supposed to be a killer, you know. And in that I'm playing a killer, but he's gonna be a kooky killer. I'm coming up with like little things to do. Like I'm gonna have a different hairdo. I'm gonna do different like voices and things like that. And then I got this thing, Street Smart, another pilot I did with my boy Tony Welch, who's on stage right now watching. They're having actually a screening this weekend. I think it's Saturday and Sunday. And if you want, you go on Tony Welch's page, you follow him, and you can find out about the screening. It's another great thing. And Tony Welch came up with a great idea. But I love comedy. And I also do stand-up comedy. I just did a comedy show on Zoom. July 25th was my last one. I'm setting up a new one soon.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, how do you like the comedy thing going now, too? Because you got your hand in stand-up as well.
I love it, man. It's great. I love making people laugh, man. It's such a pleasure just to, like, perform for people and make people laugh and just do, you know, just make people have a good time. It makes me feel good, you know, when people are having a good time and laughing, especially now with this pandemic and everything going on. It's really nice to do it.
That's so cool, man. I mean, you've done iconic things, and now you're doing comedy. You know, it's so cool to see everything that you've done, your career, you know, transpire for so long and everything like that. I just wanted to say thank you so much for coming on, man. Is there any shout-outs or social media people can follow you and check out everything you got going on?
Well, Instagram, I'm on this page, Joseph D'Onofrio Official. You know, on Facebook, I'm on Joseph D'Onofrio. Twitter, it's Joseph D'Onofrio 7. You know, and that's about it. I hope everybody goes and watches Gravesend on Amazon Prime. It's on Tubi and Amazon Prime. And everybody goes and watches go to Tony Welch on Facebook and hopefully check out the screening of Street Smart. It's online, so anybody could watch it. And the birthday cake's coming out soon. We got The Wrong Path with C. Thomas Howell coming out soon, and a couple of other things that are, you know, popping right now. And I'm, you know, all mobbed up. I'm excited about that. And I'm just thankful. Thank you for asking me to come on your show. And all the best to you in your life, man.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I see that you're constantly working. Make sure you guys follow him because he is always working, always got something in the pipeline, always got either a movie, a TV show, comedy. Something is always in the works. And, you know, it's a plethora of entertainment for everybody, man. That's really cool. I just wanted to thank you, man. I want to say thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. I appreciate it a lot.
Thank you, brother. Peace and love.
Peace and love. For Joseph D'Onofrio, I am Heartthrob Rob. This is Koffin Radio. Until next time. Thank you, man.
Thank you.